Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, we're going to go a little bit off the normal subjects that we normally talk about. Really big coincidence, something that's happened within the last 24 hours. And I want to talk about, the winners and the losers out of this. And we're going to talk about athletes, two athletes on completely opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of their circumstances, of their luck that they had over the last 24 hours. How one of them managed to lose $50 million and the other one managed to gain $50 million. And it's likely nobody else has even brought this up, because I don't think anybody else would actually be watching these two athletes at the same time. One of them, Lewis Hamilton, the racing car driver, and at the other end of the spectrum, Simone Biles, the American gymnast. Two athletes, two completely different sports, two completely different outcomes out of two very different circumstances. I'm going to try and keep this simple. I'm going to try and keep this quick. So I'm going to invite you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description, and also follow the Oversight channel, the channel that is there to help you to invest on the African continent both safely and securely, link also in the description. So who should we start off with? The winner or the loser? We're going to start off with the winner. I'm going to give you some experience that I had when I was very young. When I was around the age of 5 years old, so we're talking in the very early 1980s, I remember waiting for my sister to finish gymnastics. And I remember waiting around, and we were standing there, me and my brother that's a year younger than me, we were standing in the gym together, and there was a group of girls, and they were on the pommel horse. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's the pommel horse, and they had to get up on the pommel horse and then they had to jump down. And the teacher would help these girls onto the pommel horse and help them off the pommel horse. And me and my brother were standing there, and we were watching this teacher, and we were watching what he was doing in order to get these girls off this pommel horse. Now at the time, we even found it not disturbing, we found it funny. So we had a reaction from it because we laughed at it, we found it funny. Look at what he's doing, sort of a thing. When you're 5 years old, you don't think the same way an adult would possibly think. You couldn't even consider an adult thinking in that type of a way. So we found it mildly amusing. That's one thing I do remember, even though it's 40 years ago. And I remember remembering everything and thinking to myself, wow, if that would have happened today, heads would have rolled. And clearly, this is what has happened now with Larry NASSER. Larry NASSER has been caught out. And I don't understand why somebody would want to obliterate their lives, really, without even, a second thought, completely obliterate their livelihoods because they couldn't keep control of themselves. So the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee and USA Gymnastics have both agreed on a massive settlement on all of Larry NASSER's victims. So what has happened is they are going to pay out almost $400 million to these victims. That's a lot of money, but it's not going to be shared evenly between them. It's going to be dependent on how long of a career you had and how long you saw this particular doctor. And nobody, unfortunately, saw this doctor for as long, and nobody had a longer career than Simone Biles. So she is looking to make around $50 million in this payout, which is a nice sum, something which I think she will be able to go back home and go to sleep on, and hopefully that will put her in good stead for the future, for her family, for her children, for her children's children. You know, it's a nice payout where she can somehow feel less aggrieved at what happened to her. The other victims will also get a share of this payout. So I'm happy for everybody. This happened literally yesterday, and I know the news came back and filtered down to this part of Europe this morning. So I just wanted to congratulate Simone Biles. That is an amazing result for her, and I hope things go very well for her. That is our winner of the day. But who's our loser? Unfortunately, our loser is Sir Lewis Hamilton, who managed to lose his race on Sunday. Now, on Sunday, he had the final race. He was neck and neck in terms of points, okay? So in Formula One, you get points for every race you win or whatever place you come in the top 10. He had 318.5 points, and so did his nearest competitor, one Max Verstappen. He also had 318.5 points, and it was all down to this last race, and Lewis Hamilton was beating him all the way until the last lap, and then another car crashed. And you know, I could sit here and explain to you what happened, and it would take me all night to explain to you what happened. But essentially, that crash put this Max Verstappen, this Dutch kid, he put him in a really good situation where he could race against Lewis Hamilton with fresh tires, whilst Lewis had these older tires, and eventually on the last lap, he beat him. And this is not good for Lewis, clearly, but this kid, he won his first Formula One title, his first Formula One championship, which is all good. I'm not happy for him. I'm not a big fan of this guy or his father, who has had problems with the police for all the wrong reasons. All you have to do is look him up on Google and you'll see for yourself. And this Max is, you know, he's not a likable person. I'm going to be honest with you. So I really wanted Lewis Hamilton to win this race. This is this guy's first championship. Lewis Hamilton has had 7 championships, and he was fighting for his 8th championship. And so this Lewis is always going to be the best racing driver. He's the best racing driver in the world at this present moment, and he will be for the foreseeable future. Because he lost this race, he lost all of these bonuses, and it's going to cost him around $50 million in losses, which for a man who's earning upward of $3 million a week, yeah, you heard that correct, $3 million a week. He's earning around $150 million altogether every single year, tax-free, because he lives in Monaco. So he's getting that money tax-free. Yeah, you know, my heart is not going to break for the guy. He is going to be approaching billionaire status at some point in the near future. So 50 million isn't a big loss, but it's still, come on man, it's still 50 million bucks. And the thing is, it wasn't his fault that he lost. It was the fault of the stewards and the judges of that race. Now, there are a lot of people who are starting to shout out about supremacy and about racist judgments and calls that happened during the race, and then this Dutch kid's racist fans afterwards saying all sorts of nasty things. Well, you know, I'm not a bad loser. I wanted Lewis Hamilton to win, but he'll be back next year, and hopefully he'll be doing something nice with the other money that he won, because he still managed to come second. So anyway, so guys, that's it. That's all I had to say. I found it a coincidence that within 24 hours, you know, these two completely different athletes from completely different sports who were performing or doing their thing on the opposite ends of this earth managed to come about with these circumstances and win or lose pretty much the same amount of money. Found it really a coincidence, to be honest with you. So I'm very happy for Simone and I'm very happy for Lewis. And that's pretty much it. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got time for today. I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'd like to give an extra special thank you to my Patreons, and I'll see you in the next one. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.